If you think Apple and Samsung are running the whole smartphone game, wait till you see what China's cooking. And it's kind of crazy that most people in the West haven't even heard of half of these phones. So in this video, I'm listing down the best Chinese smartphones that flew under the radar, but seriously deserve a spot on your wish list. And if you're interested in any of these smartphones, I'll leave links to them in the description below. Number 8 on the list is the Honor Magic 8 Pro, and honestly, this one feels like a proper flagship the moment you pick it up. The build is surprisingly refined. You get this smooth micro 4-curve display that blends cleanly into a matte frame, and the whole thing feels balanced instead of bulky. The giant rhino glass on the front adds durability without turning it into a brick. And with IP68, IP69, and even IP69K ratings, the phone is way tougher than you'd expect, and the display is where things get really impressive. It's a 6.71-inch LTPO OLED with 120Hz, HDR Vivid, and Dolby Vision. Colors look rich without going neon, and peak brightness hits a ridiculous 6,000 nits. So even under harsh sunlight, everything stays perfectly visible. By the way, eye comfort is solid too, thanks to 4,320Hz PWM dimming, which honestly helps if you're scrolling at night for way longer than you should. And camera performance is another strong point. You're getting a 50-megapixel main sensor with 5.5 level OIS, a 200-megapixel periscope telephoto with 3.7 times optical zoom, a 50-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 50-megapixel selfie camera. Plus, performance feels super quick right out of the box with the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, keeping everything smooth whether you're multitasking or jumping between heavier apps. And the battery setup is impressive too, with a large 7,200 mAh cell backed by 120-watt wired and 80-watt wireless charging, so you're getting long use and really fast top-ups. Number 7 on the list is the OnePlus 13, and I'm not gonna lie, this thing feels like a sneak peek at where flagships are headed next. The star of the show is the battery. You're getting a 6,000 mAh silicon carbon battery in a phone that still feels normal in the hand. And the screen just ties it all together. You're looking at a big, sharp 6.8-inch-ish AMOLED with QHD plus resolution and 120Hz LTPO. This thing gets seriously bright outdoors, stays comfortable at night, and the bezels are tiny. The in-display fingerprint reader is crazy fast too, which is one of those small things you end up appreciating every single day. Number 6 on the list is the Xiaomi 17 Pro, and honestly, this phone feels like a spec sheet that got turned into something actually beautiful. It's one of the first phones with Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 Elite, so you're getting top-tier CPU, GPU, and next-gen on-device AI right out of the gate, paired with 16 gigs of RAM and UFS 4.1 storage. Everything from apps to file transfers feels instant. I think the front display is seriously impressive. You get a 6.3-inch LTPO AMOLED panel with a 2656 by 1220 resolution, 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10+, Dolby Vision, and 2160Hz PWM dimming. Then there's the rear display, which is honestly one of the coolest parts. You can use it for media controls, timers, live previews, and even as a viewfinder for the rear cameras. It ties nicely into HyperOS 3 on top of Android 16, which feels smooth, customizable, and polished for daily use. And powering all of that is a 6,300 mAh silicon carbon battery with 100-watt wire charging, 50-watt wireless charging, and 22.5-watt reverse wireless. So you're not just getting big capacity, you're getting genuinely fast top-ups too. And you should also know, camera-wise, you're looking at a triple 50-megapixel setup with a main wide, a 5x optical telephoto, and an ultra-wide, all co-engineered with Leica, plus a 50-megapixel selfie camera add in the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. IP68 water resistance and that premium build, and the Xiaomi 17 Pro easily earns its spot on this list. Number 5 on the list is the Oppo Find X8 Ultra, and this phone feels like Oppo woke up and chose absolute chaos in the best way. It starts with raw power, with the Snapdragon 8 Elite, up to 16 gigs of RAM, and 1 terabyte of UFS 4.1 storage. Everything loads instantly. Apps, games, multitasking, all of it just flies. Plus, the display is ridiculous in the best way. You're getting a sharp 1440p AMOLED panel with 120Hz, LTPO, crazy good colors, and peak brightness that can hit around 2500 nits in HDR. Even the regular brightness is strong at around 1600 nits, so this thing stays readable everywhere. The bezels are super thin, and the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner under the glass is fast and reliable. And the battery setup is seriously impressive. There's a 6100 mAh silicon carbon battery inside, which is wild considering how normal it feels in the hand. Charging is just as stacked with 100-watt wired, 50-watt wireless, and reverse wireless when you need it. By the way, the camera system is where Oppo really flexes. You get a 50-megapixel 1-inch main camera with OIS, a 50-megapixel 3x telephoto, a 50-megapixel 6x telephoto, and a 50-megapixel ultra-wide, plus a chroma sensor for cleaner color. The results look sharp, detailed, and honestly closer to a compact camera than a phone. Number 4 on the list is the Huawei Mate 70 Pro, and to be honest, this feels like Huawei reminding everyone it's still a serious flagship contender. The Mate 60 series made plenty of noise, and the Mate 70 Pro basically sharpens everything people already liked. The battery life gets a real upgrade. There's a 5500 mAh battery with faster wired and wireless charging, so it lasts long, charges fast, and never feels like it's slowing you down. The fingerprint reader moved to the power button, but since you also get fast 3D face unlock, the overall experience still feels effortless. By the way, performance is solid too. The Kirin 9020 keeps everyday tasks smooth, and Huawei added features to help gaming stay stable. But the camera system is the part that really stands out. The upgraded ultra-wide improved telephoto and Huawei's Ultra Chroma tech deliver brighter colors, more accurate white balance, and great low-light results. Number 3 on the list is the Vivo X300 Pro. And honestly, this feels like Vivo doubling down on everything people already loved about the X series. Plus, the design sets the vibe right away. The unibody 3D glass back, rounded corners, and that wilderness brown finish make it look premium. And with IP68 and IP69 protection, it's tough enough to handle rain, splashes, and even high-pressure water without stressing you out. And the display is another big highlight. You're getting a 6.78-inch 120Hz AMOLED with slim uniform bezels and Zeiss master color calibration. So, colors look vivid, natural, and really clean whether you're scrolling or watching something. Origin OS also adds a lot here. It's one of the smoothest Android skins out right now with fluid animations, snappy gestures, and a super fast ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. Performance definitely holds its own. The phone runs on the MediaTek Dimensity 9500, a 3nm chip that boosts CPU, GPU, and AI performance while staying power-efficient. Multitasking and gaming feel effortless, and it stays stable even with heavier apps. But the camera system is easily the star. There's a 200-megapixel Zeiss APO telephoto, a 50-megapixel gimbal-stabilized main camera, and a 50-megapixel ultra-wide. So shots come out sharp, detailed, and packed with natural bokeh. Video also looks great thanks to 4K 120 Dolby Vision recording and dedicated imaging chips that process everything fast. And by the way, the 6510 mAh Blue Volt battery with fast wired and wireless charging keeps the X300 Pro going all day without any drama. Number 2 on the list is the Oppo Find N5, and this foldable honestly feels like a flex in engineering. Unfolded, it's about 4.2 millimeters thick, so you're basically holding something not much thicker than the inside of a USB-C port, yet it still feels sturdy and premium in the hand. Oppo even goes generous with the box. You're getting an 80-watt charger, cable, a light but premium case, and a pre-installed screen protector, so you don't have to buy extras just to get started. The battery setup is where it really gets interesting. Oppo's using a high-density silicon carbon cell around 5,600 mAh. So you're getting proper all-day battery life even with a mix of gaming, socials, and media. When you finally do need to charge, the 80-watt wired charging and 50-watt wireless charging bring it back up fast, which makes it super easy to top off in short breaks. To me, both screens feel very well thought out. The cover display has a natural bar phone aspect ratio, so typing and single-handed use feel instantly familiar. Open it up and you're looking at a larger, sharp inner panel that has an anti-reflective treatment and a much less noticeable crease, so content looks clean whether you're indoors or outside. On the inside, the Snapdragon 8 Elite keeps everything flying. ColorOS adds flexible multitasking, smooth split-screen layouts, 3-app setups, file dock for drag and drop, and built-in AI tools for quick image enhancement and creative edits, so you're really using that big canvas properly. Number 1 on the list is the Huawei Mate X Ultimate. And this phone feels like something straight out of a concept showcase that somehow made it into real life. It's a trifold that manages to stay unbelievably thin, lighter than you'd expect, and genuinely premium in the hand. Huawei went all in with the build. The metal frame feels solid, the faux leather back adds grip without feeling cheap, and the hinge engineering is wild considering how much screen is tucked inside. The unboxing itself feels luxurious. You're getting a full charging setup, multiple cables, earphones, and even a carbon fiber style case, which is great because accessories for this phone barely exist. Once you unfold it, the display is the star. You're looking at a huge high-resolution panel with tiny bezels, smooth refresh, and enough brightness to stay visible outdoors. HarmonyOS handles the form factor really well. The UI adjusts naturally depending on how you fold it, and the small touches like shifting prompts and responsive layout changes make it feel polished. The camera system is surprisingly capable too. You're getting a 50-megapixel main shooter with variable aperture, so you can switch between creamy bokeh or sharp, deep focus shots without relying on software tricks. With a 5,600 mAh battery and fast charging support, the Mate X Ultimate delivers solid endurance for a device this experimental. And that's it for today. I hope this video helped you find the best Chinese smartphones you've never heard about. If you want to check out any of the ones I mentioned, I'll drop links to the latest pricing in the top comments. And hey, if this helped even a little, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And if you like this video, YouTube thinks you'll like this one next. Thanks for watching.